that fill my mind. And for the first time in a long time, you're the first one to make me feel like I want you more and more than I know. I cannot take my eyes off of you. If you're a storm, I'll dance in the rain. And hold on, I'll hold on, I'll hold on by my fingertips.
Good evening and welcome back to the Collegiate Star League. It is Tuesday night. My name is Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV. If you want to follow me over on Twitter, you can find us at the C Star League over on Twitter as well. And I'm joined by my co-caster tonight, Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find him at the Wonder Cow. They're jumping right into the draft tonight, Gorgon. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good matchup between University of Maryland College Park and Robert Morris University. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well. I'm happy to see Vengeful Spirit coming out. It's a hero that I've been saying for a little while. I think is a strong hero this patch, and we saw a little bit at Nanyang, and we've seen a little bit in some of the Summit qualifiers. I'm glad to see UMCP kind of jumping on that. Not to do too heavily into the draft right away. I'm just super excited to be getting into it.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting, guys. This is, if you aren't familiar with it, if it's your first time joining us, this is the Collegiate Star League. It is a collegiate Dota 2 tournament that culminates at a LAN final. Last year it was in San Francisco. There's a couple of options what it'll be this year, and we'll give you more details as the season pushes forward. It goes all the way through May, and the top 4 teams get invited to that LAN to earn their share of $15,000 in scholarships. So pretty exciting stuff. I have absolutely enjoyed covering it. We've got 2 teams here that are coming out of the same bracket in the, I believe this is East 2, and they're very different in terms of their records. Have you had a chance to look at the record comparisons yet?
You know, I haven't gone over it. I've just been going over a lot of the metagame stuff that's been coming in through the stats. So I haven't looked at these specific teams, but I have done a lot of research today in overall trends.
I got you. Well, I will tell you this. They both come out of the East bracket. They're both in generally a region near each other, but their records are very, very different. Robert Morris is at a paltry 0-3 right now on the opening of their season. A very tough start. UMCP is 2-1, so they have gotten off to a little bit of a better lead, and a lot of folks are saying UMCP should take this 2-0, no problem. But I will tell you, I've gone over the record for Robert Morris. They've played some tough teams. They've gone against Connecticut. They've gone against Illini. Both of those teams, the University of Illinois and Connecticut, are 4-0 right now. So they've gone against some juggernauts. This is their chance to prove that they aren't as bad as their record shows. This is a big match for Robert Morris University. On the other side, UMCP needs this win if they want to stay competitive with Rutgers, Illinois, and Connecticut.
Yeah, it's definitely, for the early quarter of the season, this is the week, right, that's really going to start breaking teams into brackets. Probably for the remainder of the season. If you can't kind of stay ahead of here, you'll probably fall into that middle bracket category. If you've got nothing at this point, then you're really going to be playing from a very substantial statistical disadvantage moving toward the end part of the season. And for Robert Morris, getting one victory, at least something under their belt, is absolutely necessary in the first 5 games, right?
That's true. And like you said, it goes for a long time, guys. We run up until, I believe it's going to be mid-December. Then we take about a month off for Christmas break, and then we're back all the way through May. So these teams have a lot of time to gel, and that's important, isn't it? Because these teams aren't what you're used to seeing in the pro scene. These aren't 5 to 12K players who practice 24/7 and know each other in and out. These are players who go to college full-time. They may not be the highest MMR players, so they may not have had as much time to practice and learn synergy together. So this is important to sort of see these early games and see the room for development more than an early record.
Yeah, I do like the addition all the way up to 12K. In case
You know,
5 to 12,
well,
pro level.
Somebody may watch this replay a year from now, and then they'll be like, exactly. So that's it. Why don't you talk about the draft while I fix some camera settings?
All right, so the Chen is a really uncommon pick right now. In fact, he is the least played hero in high-skilled Dota, period. In terms of 4K and 5K players, you see Chen less than any other hero in the game. Vengeful Spirit is a pretty uncommon pick. She comes in at about a 10% play rate, but at high levels of play. We're talking, once again, 4K, 5K. She's sitting at between a 52 and a 54% win rate. Like I said, a hero that's undervalued. For Robert Morris, much more typical draft for this meta that mirrors a lot of what we're seeing out of the pro sector. A Tusk, a Witch Doctor, and Ember Spirit. Witch Doctor syncs up very well with the current meta because it is physical damage in large part, and that negative armor oriented strategy that tends to be very popular right now. Syncs very well with obviously the Witch Doctor's overall kit. However, into a Vengeful Spirit is dangerous because even if he gets a BKB, there's always a cancellation available as long as that Vengeful is around.
Definitely, and you can see when you talk about the focus on physical and the current meta, why Vengeful Spirit you think is on the rise. Now, when we talk about micromanagement and aura, you know, we talk a lot about, or we've seen a lot of Drow Visage in the past because they sync so well together. Does Chen get similar levels of benefit from the Vengeful Spirit when it comes to pushing, or do you think that the creeps coming out of the jungle just aren't strong enough?
It's not as significant. I mean, it does make a difference, right? Every little bit helps. But the synergy there is not quite to the same as the Drow Visage. And part of that is that the Visage Familiars are specifically balanced and designed to have low attack damage after they move in for combat, so that they can't split push too effectively. They can't gank too effectively on their own. And getting that Drow turns that around and really undercuts one of the only big weaknesses that hero has.
Makes sense.
Now, Visage, actually, since we mentioned, the second least popular hero at high levels of play. Or certainly second, depending on the bracket, between second and fifth. So we probably won't see it.
Sounds like someone's working on a new metagame Fortnite.
Oh man, so Dota Buff just released this super awesome feature
Gotcha.
that breaks people down by MMR and categories and gives you all of the data possible by MMR and category. And so I've been playing with it a lot today.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And it's funny that they would use MMR to break people down because I feel like Dota's been using MMR to break me down for years.
Oh, jeez.
So
that
now,
got a little too real, man.
Things got real.
Entertainment.
Things got real. All right, so that's it. As we look at the draft right now, UMCP is a very interesting lineup. They've got some survivability. They've got great initiation. The Earthshaker Vengeful Spirit, how does that going to synergize together? Because isn't the idea of the Earthshaker to sort of get everyone together and sort of pick them apart, whereas Vengeful Spirit's going to look to isolate?
It can work. Slark is going to be the pickup here. So it looks like they are just going for a straight push strategy, and the Vengeful Spirit is part of that specifically for her aura negative armor, right? She gives vision behind a tower. She allows the Chen to get multiple creeps. Her aura and the Luna aura, along with the Chen creeps and the Dragon Knight ultimate, should allow them to just barrel roll through a couple of towers. The swap is kind of an afterthought, I think, in this strategy. But if she does get a bunch of gold early, what she can actually do is get a Blink Dagger so that the Earthshaker can't, right? And then she can blink in and swap him in if necessary. It's not ideal, and it's not the best synergy ever, but that is something that I've seen done at pro level occasionally, especially if an Earthshaker is having a bad game. But it looks like push is the name of the game.
We shall see. So without further ado, let's do some quick introductions. First, I'm going to say welcome to the Collegiate Star League. For those of you who may just be joining us, this is Collegiate Dota at its finest, and a matchup between Robert Morris University and the University of Maryland at College Park. Now, the teams, University of Maryland, for the Dire side, we're going to have Cajun on the Rage and Earthshaker. We're going to have Sano playing a crazy Luna. We're going to have the Miss rocking out on that Dragon Knight. We're going to have Chen played by 4Dream. And last but certainly not least, Johnny on the spot will be looking to make the swap with Vengeful Spirit.
All right, and for the Radiant side, we're going to have Wasted doing that voodoo he does so well on the Witch Doctor. JoJo is rolling around on the Tusk. Dota Kingpin 91 is going to be sneaking around down that Slark. Massive is stealing it all on the Rubik, and Sneaks Loves Sophia is burning up on the Ember Spirit.
And those are the lineups as we get this game one of a best-of-3 matchup here at the CSL underway. Don't forget, if you've got a little bit of time as we wait for these fights to get started, to head over, look at the links on the bottom of the page to the Facebook page for Collegiate Star Ladder, or Star League, I'm sorry, as well as the Twitter account. If you want to see it grow and get yourself into a college scene, they've got instructions on how to get the club going, how to get your college registered and entered into leagues just like this. And remember, it's not just Dota. We do League, we do Hearthstone, we do StarCraft, and so much more. Now, as you look at these groups start to head out, it looks like the bottom, we could have quite the throwdown here as everyone seems to be going down towards that bottom rune. I'm excited about what's going to happen here. So the buzzer goes off, 3 seconds to spawn. It looks like RMU sees University of Maryland come in and decides that that is not a fight that they are interested in taking. They just fade away. Is that the right choice?
Yeah, so if they got a really nice set of cask bounces, they could have made something happen there. But in all honesty, the risk is too high, right? You don't really want to engage too heavily into that. I don't think they need it to secure favorable lanes, to be honest.
Makes sense. All right, so mid match is going to be the Ember Spirit versus the Dragon Knight. Now, Dragon Knight mid, I don't know. I've been a little bit out of the game for the last week or two, but I feel like that's not a hero I get to see play mid very often.
No, we don't see that a ton, especially not right now. It is a matchup that pretty heavily favors the Ember Spirit, partially because Dragon Knight's harass comes out of magic damage. So the Flame Guard is super effective against him, and also partially because Ember Spirit just does better against most melee heroes because he has that AoE, because he has the survivability. He's going to be able to go in and get a lot more last hits in this Dragon Knight without sufficient rotations from UMCP or just simply the Dragon Knight outplaying him.
Makes sense. All right, so that's going to be the mid matchup. When we look at the top, Tusk already having a very difficult time up against Johnny 13 staying in lane. Revenge using a basically spamming mana pots and a mango to make sure that Tusk can't get anywhere close as he is still sitting at level 2. So he's dead even with the Luna, which obviously he doesn't want in that off-lane position. Down on the bottom, Massive looks like he's going to try to start the same thing up against Cajun. Which off-laner is in the more advantageous position here?
I would definitely say it's the Tuskar. He's got much more survivability than the Earth Spirit does. Or excuse me, than the Earthshaker does. Earthshaker is an offlaner that's kind of in vogue, but he does not have the ability to go and clear stacks, which, to be fair, neither does the Tuskar. But he also just does not have the survivability. At least Tusk has the potential to snowball away. He's got ice shards to block in front of him, whereas the Earthshaker can only block laterally, which makes him very difficult.
Makes sense. All right, let's see. 500 gold lead already going to UMCP. Figure the last hits. Chen in the jungle is making the difference there as he's already looking at 11. Going to be going for some aggressive farm. Or maybe not as he pops the smoke. He's got the Centaur stun and the Tornado, and it looks like he may be doing some rotating. If he finds this haste rune, he can go for that mid. Decides not to.
Yeah, he won't want to take the haste rune for two reasons.
Right.
One, well, maybe he will. No, he shouldn't want it because A, he could give away his smoke, and B, he'd be way faster than his crease, which would make it very difficult for him to micro, right? So, leaving it there for the Dragon Knight, whose bottles is already out, is far more superior. Though I don't know what he's doing wandering around under smoke.
Yeah, I'm not... It's okay, so the smoke ends. He went ahead and used it, I guess.
So, his goal was to go ahead and pick off this Tusk while
Right.
Tusk was being forced forward, specifically because the lane equilibrium was pushed out really far. So the timing was actually right by Chen, but he should have waited an extra 12 seconds or so to make sure that the Tusk would actually come out for experience, because if he doesn't, then what's the point of the smoke?
Right, which is exactly what seemed not to happen. So he falls back. Smoke is wasted. That said, it looks like Miss... What do we got? What do we got?
Kung Fu Hustle up top.
They're going after Johnny. Johnny taking some damage. Didn't expect a transfer from the Witch Doctor. RMU wants to make it clear that you can't just hit our Tusk. Johnny comes back, pops the salve. There's the stun. Sano from behind. He's got one shot to finish the job. That'll be enough. Now JoJo is exposed. He's got to go. Johnny's still got a couple seconds left on the stun, so he'll just finish with the harass and force him away a little bit more at a time. But that was
They're going to pressure this tower, I think, off of that.
Well, it was an interesting rotation by the Witch Doctor, and then just a good salve and counter initiation by that Vengeful Spirit on the wraparound.
Yeah, for the Witch Doctor, the big problem there was that he threw the cask out against one hero, and he should have known that another hero would rotate in to help, right? If you get two heroes in the jungle with that paralyzing cask bounce in between them, that's almost a guaranteed kill. So maybe just a bit too gun crazy on casting a spell there. Otherwise, the rotation was really nice.
So, JoJo at level 3, head-to-head with Sano, who's at 5 already. Massive now comes up for the assist at level 2, but here comes a rotation from Johnny right back to lane, and it looks like Wasted is going to head towards that mid position.
Yeah, and once
not really
again,
sure what he's doing.
he dropped a ward, and I think maybe he's just going to keep rotating around, or... Not entirely positive, to be honest.
It's almost like they decided to run an aggressive tri-lane after the fact.
I will say this Dragon Knight is just destroying Ember Spirit mid, which should not be happening. It shouldn't, right? I mean, he's got a max breathe fire build into A hero
no.
really, really handles magical damage extremely easily.
I feel like Sneaks would probably spend less time loving Miss Sophia Bush and more time loving last hits because he is just not getting nearly enough of them on this lane. And like you said, he's a kind of hero who requires it. 6 comes up on Dragon Knight. He's going to go in and pop it right away. Start to put a little bit of pressure on the tower. Ember has to fall back. Again, on the bottom, Slark is getting boxed pretty aggressively by the ES. They moved everybody up to the top lane, and now ES is doing pretty well down here. Is 18-3.
Yeah, he should be able to do fine against the Slark. I would expect the Slark to also be fine, but it just Soul Ring out on the Earthshaker and all the spam nuking is keeping that Slark down. He does get a salve, and he will be back into fighting shape.
Well, the problem is they rotated everyone up to try to put some work into this Luna, but she's still number 3 on the last hit chart, dodges the ice shards. I mean, like, they just can't seem to pick up a lane, if that makes sense. They just, nobody's ahead.
Yeah, RMU is just getting outmaneuvered here more than anything. This isn't a draft thing. This isn't inferior. Oh, wow. Earthshaker going to commit, and he will get it.
Wow, missed that one completely. I was scratching my head. Literally,
it was
scratching my head.
It didn't look like it would have been a kill, other than the fact that this Earthshaker had really good sense about how much damage output he has. Or the Slark came up with almost full health. He got Echo Slammed. He got stunned with an Enchant Totem. He got stunned with a Fissure, and then he got hit with the Aftershock. That's all she wrote. He was almost from full health.
Oh, no. After all that time there, they moved Rubik in to try and get a gank on the mid, but the creeps from Chen are just sitting here on the high ground watching him. Dragon Knight heads out in the opposite direction. They have to call it off, and Rubik's got to rotate away. This is just, like you said, it's outmaneuvering, a little bit of luck in some points, but a lot of just preparation by UMCP.
Yeah, it just feels like they have a game plan, and RMU doesn't, right? They drafted a squad that goes into the stages of the game.
I'm going to interrupt you. Sano, they finally made their move on him. They go into the roll. Sano's trying to escape, dropping pretty low. Turns back around to put out some damage, but he cannot finish the job. So they do get a good pick on the Luna. A much-needed kill up there. Nice,
happy Rubik getting some very crucial body blocks there to make sure the Luna couldn't tear away and then throw a mini-stun. He made it look easy. He really did.
All right, so let's see.
All right, and in the bottom lane, we're going to have some action here as the Chen is going to be pounced down, and there's going to be the additional damage coming out of the Earthshaker. The Rubik has gone down. Now the Slark is chasing down after the Chen. He could be in trouble himself, though. The Soul Ring is not up, but there is going to be a mini-stun. One more attack. No! He barely gets away. Now the Earthshaker is being chased down. There's going to be the Searing Chain, so he will not get another chance to cast.
The right time to Searing Chain. It was, oh man, Earthshaker in the process of getting his stun up, and Ember Spirit finishes the deal. So, just like that, RMU picks another one up, and it goes 2-4. So, RMU, who off to a tough start, getting themselves back in it just a little bit, but not by much. UMCP still up by over 4,000 gold and over 3,000 XP. Meanwhile, in the mid position, Miss just harassing JoJo. He got that middle tower during the debacle of a fight that kind of broke out there on the bottom. Miss is under attack, though. Big rotations here. Sophia Bush comes in, gets out the stun, and they're moving on Miss. Miss ends up going down. JoJo gets low, but not low enough. He'll escape with 25 HP to his name. I'm sorry. So a little bit of overconfidence by that Dragon Knight.
Big overconfidence. He had taken that tower. He could have just backed up and moved to another lane. Top should be easy to take at this point with double aura. Both of them have at least some points in their aura, and they should be able to get ready to push with the Chen, especially with the Dragon Knight alongside.
Yeah, definitely. Luna already swinging for over 100 when they're standing next to each other. So a nice little combination. Cajun taking some bottom from that damage from that Slark on the bottom as he continues to work on that farm, try to get that Blink Dagger up and running as fast as he possibly can. The top 4 CS on the side are from Dyer. We're going to flip over to the net worth chart for you to take a look at. While Sano gets picked up and thrown back, looking for a little bit of a zone, Johnny comes in, follows with the stun, reduces the armor, finishes the job. Dragon Knight, so much range, so much damage, so much to pay for. And it's kind of a really interesting combo. I like the Dragon Knight for this team. I was thinking about it because he's someone we don't see very often, right?
Yep.
But the idea that he fits the aura strap very well with Johnny 13, but also provides that sort of range initiation burst damage that we saw work so well there, really I think makes him function well with this team lineup. But now we see a chase as Miss is going to go after Sophia. Sophia locked in place, puts up the flame guard, but all that's going to do is prolong the inevitable. JoJo, no! They pick off the Witch Doctor too? That's a triple kill for UMD. They'll take the tower as part of the deal, and and they are a stone rolling downhill, and no matter how many times RMU tries to push it back up, it just keeps falling on their head.
Yeah, this is definitely Sisyphean, as you alluded. At this stage in the game, just based on net worth, UMCP has about an 84% likelihood to win.
Oh, no. Rubik goes down on a nice play by Miss and Sano. Rubik thought he got away. He made a cheeky little lift dodge to get out of that one. But Sano said, nope, I've got that loosened beam range. And like I said, it fits. It's these two physical damage heroes that both have a really strong one range spell. Sano gonna get hit, nice little bat, lots of good bounces by that Witch Doctor, but will it be enough? It won't, as JoJo's gonna get shot down. Sophia comes in, Wasted shows up, but way too long after the fact, and he looks like he will manage to get out just barely. There's a Slark attack on Miss. Miss got out of position just a little bit, turns back around though and manages to get the kill, and that is another twofer as they finish off that tower. And it just feels like UMCP can't do anything to stop this right now. They've got Earthshaker, who's not even bothering to come in. He's like, guys, you just got to handle this. I need to try to farm some more. He does have the Blink Dagger online now, which surprises me that he did not TP in to utilize his ultimate in that fight.
I mean, he wasn't needed, right? They wrecked that fight anyway. Why waste the time coming in when you're pretty sure your team has it under control?
Yeah.
They drilled through a second tower in that lane off that
Holy
one
snap.
single push, right?
Look at that gold lead already. I mean, it's what, 11 minutes in the game?
So, yeah, based on that gold lead, now that it's been updated pretty significantly, we're talking if this were a pro game, about a 98% chance to win the game for UMCP. Like, this is not a small lead that they've managed to secure. This is the sort of strategy that you might see a team like Secret succeed on against a team like Monkey Freedom Fighters. If you're playing equivalently skilled, equivalently coordinated teams, this sort of strategy does not work on this patch very often because it is so punishable. But UMCP is really just forcing RMU to play into that hand, to engage when they don't really want to, because RMU doesn't seem to have tactically the same grasp.
In the mid, we go for the big fight. This could be it. Sophia gets locked behind the tower. In comes the roll, gets a double stun on Missing Cajun. Big punch finishes him off. That's an important kill for the guys on RMU. Every kill matters at this stage of the game. Johnny's in very, very deep. They're trying to make a move on him. Pounce is going to land. Johnny's got nowhere to go. Puts up the stun on Massive. Big swap. Good play, but not far enough. That does put Massive in a tough position. Slark going to be on the run. They lost 3 going after that Venge. Was it worth it? The answer, I think, is probably not.
I actually do think that was worth it.
Really?
So 3 for 2. They were going to lose this tower anyway. I mean, if the alternative is doing nothing and losing your tower, or trading 3 for 2 and taking and losing the tower anyway, this is a 600 gold swing in favor of RMU.
Right.
A lot of that gold on the Slark and Tusk, who are heroes that are struggling to get core items up. For Slark, that equaled out Drums almost, right? That almost let him finish his first actual item. For Tusk, that also means that he's getting very close to, another set of drums. Okay. So they're both going for the same item, but they both almost finished it off that fight too.
Well, RMU, you heard it here first, doing a great job of getting themselves back into this match, and they're going to do it with a drum circle. So
yeah,
if there was a more stereotypical way for some college students to try and get themselves back into this, I don't know if drum circle... Well, I guess I should say, I went to college a long time ago, and drum circles were trendy. I don't think that's a thing anymore.
Yeah, I did drum circles in college, but I'm a percussionist, so, you know. But I did it professionally for a while, so it makes sense for me. I don't know what you were doing.
It was just class for you. For us, I think it was experimental. Gold lead is at 12,000. XP is at 6. And UMCP looks like they're trying to show everyone who's watching that they were right about the estimate that UMCP should be able to take this without too much trouble. Meanwhile, we saw a 3-man smoke gank go into the jungle. They found Miss. He threw out a flame breath, and they all ran away.
Yeah, that was really half-hearted, to be honest. Ember Spirit had 3 remnants up, and he had the full mana, so he could have either Sleight of Fisted out and then hit him with the Searing Chains. He could have remnanted out, body blocked or something. He just gave up right away, and I'm not sure why. Maybe he thought that there were more allies in the jungle than there were.
All right, and I think that makes sense. The rest of the team was in here looking around, kind of out of vision range, and, you know, it is what it is. You got to play careful at this point.
Yeah, well, here's the deal, though, for RMU. There's no reason to play careful, right? They have nothing to lose at this point.
Fair point.
What worst case scenario, they run in and get 5-man wipe doing something stupid and that they shouldn't have been doing. So they lose the game they were already going to lose anyway, right?
Fair,
Anything is worth giving a shot if you could get an advantage out of it. Granted, there are better ways to try and get that thing on others, but if you already spent the smoke, you've already gone up there, and all you see is the one, and he is within reach, just give it a try, right?
Absolutely. I will say that smoke efficiency in this game is at an all-time low on both sides. Easy knockdown of the Roche, UMCP, as if they weren't already in a position to really kind of take this thing down, lock up that Roche and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, this is snowball strat, right? This is classic 6.81, and like I said, there are a lot of ways to punish this strategy. You can have split push farmers, which, granted, the Ember Spirit did go in for Boots of Travel, so he has some idea of how to punish these things. In addition, you really need to have some sort of an AoE response, which they don't have for RMU right now, except their split pusher, who he can't be everywhere all at once. I feel like they didn't necessarily draft into punish this sort of strategy that hard, and also they maybe don't feel super comfortable doing so. Their vision is very restrictive, that it's Ancients, which is not going to be a crucial point of the map for them right now. Really, the most crucial point on the map is right here, right? So that they can go out and get the reasonably safe creeps rather than the Ancients, which are by themselves and segregated on the map.
Mist goes in, is going to immediately start working on the tower. Massive goes ahead and steals. Dragon forms into a very small dragon to face up against Mist's very large dragon as they begin to tear through this bottom tower. Top tower was under assault. They were trying to trade it for a tier 2. Did not happen. Big penguin throw. Someone bought the compendium to slow them down, but Mist has no interest in leaving until this tower falls. Going to put some damage on the ranged racks. Good bounce coming out of the cask, but Sano still able to get an attack in between bounces just to show you how much online he really is at this point, and they continue to go forward. Massive able to take a steal of the Lucid Beam. Going to use it against them, but Sano very strong. Then the mech comes out. Ay vey, it's a mech, it's a hand of God, it's the death of the Ember Spirit. The buyback, but what can he really do?
Why, though? Yeah. Right? I mean, two of your heroes are trying to build the same item, and neither of them have finished it at 17 minutes.
Sano plays deep, got the Aegis, so it's going to pop right back up. Johnny on the run. Dota Kingpin can't seem to finish the job. We'll get a big roll, but not enough to close the distance. Venge manages to get away. Sophia Bush comes in. They want Sano real bad. Sano is ultimately going to go down, as will the Slark. Pick up, throw down, the jump in. That's the end of the Rubik. Mist does get caught inside of a pretty good play by the Witch Doctor. A great play is he could not get the stun off. Now he's got to run away in shame and ends up going down. That's a big gold give up to Tusk, as you know, they lost the racks, but I guess it went a little bit better than it could have.
Yeah, they're not dead yet, so you know, one foot in the grave is not the same as dead. It reminds me of the scene from Monty Python where the guy's over his shoulder. I'm not dead yet. It's kind of fighting against the tide here.
It is fighting against the tide. And you know what? Kudos to RMU for fighting so gosh darn hard to keep themselves in this. I mean, we saw last week or the week before, a massive gold swing over. I think that week was something in the ballpark of like almost 20,000.
We saw, I think, 30,000
That's what it was.
From 20,000 to 10,000 or something like that. You can check the VODs if you want to know the exact amount. It's worth noting that I cite a lot of pro Dota stats because that's what I work with, right? When I'm doing my job with Dota, like that's the information that's available. But these are not pro teams, and we say this all the time. Swings are much more possible at this level of play than they are when you're talking about literally dudes who just sit and play Dota for their job all the time. Those guys are much harder to force into mistakes.
Now, talking about items real quick, as we kind of see everybody break off and do a little bit of farming here. Sanjasha on the Luna, Sanjasha on the Dragon Knight, Drums on the Dragon Knight. So only one Drums on UMCP at the moment. 4 staff on the Venge, Dagon for Ched, so getting a little bit cheeky. Also picks up that mechanism that we saw very effectively used in the last fight. Cajun is trying to get up his Ag Scepter. He's actually about halfway there, which is pretty impressive for how this game is going. Sorry, not impressive. For how this game is going, it makes sense. Sophia gets caught out, burnt down. In comes Dota Kingpin. Says, I at least would like to get a kill before I die. Gets very low, cannot finish Venge. She does finally drop down. Big ultimate from Wasted, but he's caught inside of the Echo Slam. We do see a buyback now from the Venge. Sees everybody looping around. Jojo going on Miss. Miss comes in, or Sano comes in, saves Miss, finishes off the Rubik. And they'll push up to the high ground. Venge is coming back in, runs into Jojo. Jojo, oh no, he just wrong place, wrong time, runs smack into Johnny. Johnny solos him down. Not what you want to see. You don't want to see your offlaner killed 1v1 against the support of the opposing team, right?
You know, the real irony of that is his Shadow Blade is done anytime he can get the bloody Shadow Amulet out of his stash. So, had that happen 30 seconds later, he would have been A-okay. Instead, the game is basically over. I have to point out, right, in this sort of game, just the fact that UMCP gave away over a
beam stolen, goes on Sano. Sano by himself will get caught out. Can they finish the job? Good bounce. Gets a little bit of a heal, but it's not going to be enough from the hand of God. So a good pick for Sano. That gives up a lot of gold, but it all goes to the Witch Doctor, unfortunately. Now Johnny on the run. Sophia Bush going to close. Gets up a good stun. Good force staff from the Venge. Doing everything she can to keep herself out of the hot seat, but it's not going to matter. The chase is on. The Flame Guard is strong, and the body blocks, and followed by the pounce. So a nice double pick by RMU, 12-23. But here comes Miss. He's going to walk into Massive. Massive's backup has left, so he does have to be very careful. Cajun comes in.
There's no being careful. There's not enough careful in the world to undo that mistake, right?
Oy. He was like, guys, I'm going to check the rune. RMU was like, deuces.
But I do want to point out the fact that they have taken, or RMU has taken, well over 2,000 swing into their favor on these engagements. Like, UMCP is showing a lot of the sort of mistakes that lead to this kind of lineup frequently losing over time, right? It works sometimes, but it often just does not work out as the game progresses. You lose ground, you make those play errors, you feel compelled to push too hard. Unfortunately, RMU just has not capitalized on that as much, and they've gotten a little bit flustered. They've been forced into some mistakes of their own.
I think that's an understatement. Now, okay, Walrus Punch going to come in, pops Miss. Miss just shrugs it off, backs away. Twitch chat's asking you to use your collective analytical skills to explain why the Ember Spirit built straight into a Boots of Travel when they were so gosh darn far behind and already been being pushed in so aggressively. Am
I supposed to say the analytical reason why it might be a good idea, or the reason why I think the player did it?
I don't know. I guess
because I think the player did it because it's popular and it's the way that he knows how to play and he's comfortable with it. The reason it might be a good idea, we'll come back to that because this could be the last fight of the game.
Fight is a friendly statement. Out comes the Witch Doctor Ultimate. Going to go ahead and he actually uses very smartly the Fisher to keep them away from him while getting some damage out there. It costs the life of the Venge, but Tusk in some trouble. In they go. They want Miss. The pounce misses. He does the flyby. And now Sophia Push gets hit by the Lucent Beam. Doesn't really care much about it, and the chase is on. The guys from UMCP pull back and come right back in. Sano says, I got a BKB. I got an ultimate. I'm ready to play. Dota Kingpin goes invis, but doesn't leave. Takes the damage. Drops on down. It's a 4-man kill. Tusk with the buyback wants to come in and fight to the bitter end. I at least admire that. Here comes the Penguin. Goes through. They move on 4Dream. Takes some damage. Here comes the roll. He's going to drop down. Big Walrus Punch on Sano. Using that Shadow Blade, but Sano turns back around. She's got damage output for days. And we'll finish the job. Cajun with the help, and the GG comes out. That was, well, that was fast. We got off to
a barn burner, I'll tell you what. 30-14, 22 minutes. Yeah. Fast? You could call it fast.
It was less of a barn burner and like more of just straight up barn arson, right? Like UMCP came in and was like, RMU, I apologize, but your barn is just not okay here. And they took it out. But that was a fun first game, guys. This is the Collegiate Star League. My name is Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV. I'm joined by my co-caster, Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find him at the Wonder Cow over on Twitch as well. Please make sure you follow C Star League on Twitter as well as on Facebook. The links are on the stream. This is the best of 3. It's not over. RMU has another chance to come back and show us exactly how they want to play this out, because UMCP showed us that they're solid, man. We've seen them play before, Gorgon. I didn't expect anything less than this from University of Maryland College Park. What's your takeaway from the game?
Be careful with your draft, and they've got to be way more communicative. Like building to the same item, not building the items that their team needs. The supports got a Blink Dagger and a Shadow Blade. They didn't. I guess one of those was the offlaner, but even still, they just didn't synergize. It felt like every one of the players from that team was trying to play his own game. And at this level of play, even though we're not up to pro level, we're getting to the point where it's pretty competitive, and you absolutely need to be able to put yourself in your allies' shoes and see what is the best move as a group.
All right, that's it, guys. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll play some music and be in Twitch chat till the next lobby is up and running. This is the Collegiate Star League, and as always, Toffee's out.
I've got this space inside my heart, and I need you to patch me up. I feel lost, I feel lost. Will you be my love? 'Cause I need you. To sleep easy. To sleep easy. To sleep easy. I've got this space inside my heart, and I need you to patch me up. I feel lost, I feel lost. Will you be my love? 'Cause I need you. To sleep easy. To sleep easy. To sleep easy. The first time I can sleep easy. From the first time you were in my life. For the first time I can sleep easy. From the first time you were in my life. For the first time I can sleep easy. From the first
and welcome back to the Collegiate Star League. This is Game 2, a matchup between Robert Morris University and the University of Maryland College Park, who took off their name to play a little bit of mind games with their opponent. My name is Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV. I'm joined by Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find him at the Wonder Cow over on Twitter, and don't forget to use the links on the bottom of the page to follow C Star League. That's the Collegiate Star League over on Twitter or on Facebook. Gorgon, that last match was something to behold.
You're really dancing around the issue. The last match was a stomp. It was it was the hardest stomp we've seen so far in CSL. I'm not afraid to say it. It's just fact. What I will say,
in fact, I think all of you on Twitch should really appreciate the fact that normally it costs anywhere from $65 to $120 to get a ticket to Stomp, and here you got to watch the whole thing for free.
Yeah, no, this was definitely some uncut street level Stomp.
All right,
I think we're talking about different things at this point.
I was talking about the Broadway show.
Yeah.
You got real on us, man.
I was talking about something you can find on Broadway.
Yeah, intriguing. All right, so Earthshaker Ancient Apparition gets picked up by RMU. An interesting combo to me, though. Two very popular supports in the meta right now. Tusk, obviously another popular hero, picked up on the other side. What are you looking for in this game?
Well, I do like the Alchemist ban from RMU. They've already proven that they don't necessarily have the coordination to deal with hyper-aggressive early game strategies, and Alchemist is the king of that crap right now.
Tell us how you really feel about hyper-aggressive strategies.
So, Tusk Tiny also super hyper-aggressive, especially if this is a secret, like, Weehaw-style throwback Blink Dagger Tiny, right? Like that. If it's more of the Monkey Business Vega Squadron IO, the IO ban comes out, and I think that's smart by RMU. Probably not a hero that UMD can run super successfully, but you can't take that risk at this stage.
All right, so ban outs pretty common there. We got that Alk, the Queen of Pain, the Doom band. Now, Doom is still a first ban I'm noticing in a couple of the games that I've been watching, even after the nerf that was released for him. Is he still really that strong?
Yes. So, I take issue with the idea that Doom is the pet project of the community, that they think that he's so overpowered in their pubs. In pub games, he has a good win rate. He doesn't have a win rate that tells me that he needs to be immediately eradicated from existence, right? So, he is the most played hero in high-level Dota. Like, at 5K plus, he's the most picked hero. His win rate up there is good. Like, it's 56%, which honestly, it's much better than it was the last time I checked, where it was just above 50. So he is gaining ground. He probably will get a scaling nerf, I would expect, before the fall major.
Well, so are these numbers you're talking about after the post-Nanyang Doom nerf?
Yeah, so this is from the last month. So it's not, it's not
including the changes that you just got.
Right, it's including everything up till right now for the last month.
Gotcha.
So some of it, but the bulk of it is over the last month.
Oh, good news. Good news for us, Gorgon.
What's up?
They picked up the Wind Ranger.
Oh yeah, Wind Ranger. I know you love that hero.
I do. I can't help it. She's so friendly.
She is the most played hero at 2K to 4K. Or excuse me, yeah, 2K to 4K. Most played hero. Not a great win rate at high levels of play though.
Your underhanded shots are phenomenal tonight, Gorgon.
Man, I just fucking love this tool. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, beep. Anyway, so Darkseer Wind Ranger picked up by
everybody who's a data nerd should immediately go over to Dota Buff and play around with this thing. It's amazing.
So Robert Morris in a little bit of a different, I guess, pacing pickup this time around. Looks like they're going to be looking for a lot more team fight. In fact, a ton more team fight. Hoping that Wind Ranger is going to do a good job in the mid position. Last time, remember, Robert Morris had an Ember versus a Dragon Knight and should have won the lane, but got dominated in the mid position. So is Wind Ranger going to be a better fit for sort of not getting caught in that spot? Because
yeah,
I'm worried about him. I am.
Wind Ranger is just empirically an easier hero to play mid. She's ranged. She has the ability to still harass safely from a distance. She's a natural bottle carrier if you want her to be. She has a good escape. She has a good stun. I'm not saying that Sneaks is going to just come in and all of a sudden he's outplaying his opponent when before he got wildly outplayed, but this is a much easier hero to play in that position. Typically, ranged heroes are easier than melee heroes in the mid lane. It's just the way it is.
Phantom Lancer gets picked up by Robert Morris, puts them in a very interesting lineup. A bit greedy. Wind Ranger's probably going to be playing that support role, though I guess Earthshaker could be that as well. Decisions to be made. On the opposite side, we've got... Is this going to be an IO? Is this going to be a classic tiny? Is this going to be an old school tiny IO mid? Oh, thank God. So who plays mid here, or is it
Tiny? It's going to be Tiny mid, maybe Tiny farming carry with a mid to come, but I think it's going to be Tiny mid.
They could play that good old fashioned make 5 your absolute hard Abaddon and let Nature's Prophet jungle and pick up a classic mid.
If they don't pick Tiny mid, then I'm thinking maybe a Death Prophet mid. Just they once again, they picked a heavy amount of push. They clearly want to do heavy aggression. The Death Prophet fits into that. She lanes fairly well against the Wind Ranger. She has good magical spam, so the Wind Run isn't that effective. She's got that silence. She is able to push just as hard as the Wind Ranger so that she can return damage onto towers. I think that she's overall a pretty fair matchup here. They're going to get a Riki. I assume that's farming carry, so it should be Tiny mid. Yeah.
Okay. So... Abaddon's... I'm curious. Abaddon's ultimate, is it affected in any way, shape, or form by Ancient Apparition? Because it's not... Is it a heal, technically?
Yeah, so it stops any sort of healing. Okay. Any sort of positive HP growth. In fact, even if you get strength gain, right, while A's ult is on you, you don't get more health relative to your pool.
That's what I thought. So UMD...
Which is why tread toggling is a terrible idea if you are up against an AA and you have been hit by Ice Blast. Right?
UMD, a very bold pick, but I guess if you're UMD and the last game went as well as it did, now's the time to try some new things out. That said, let's do some introductions in this Collegiate Star League Game 2 matchup between the University of Maryland on the Radiant side and Robert Morris University on the Dire. For the Dire lineup, we're going to have Sophia Bush playing that Wind Ranger, presumably in the mid position. JoJo on the Earthshaker. Darkseer will be running around, played, if I can target him, played by Massive. We're going to have the PL handled by Dota Kingpin, and last but certainly not least, Wasted is going to be playing that Ancient Apparition, hoping to get knockouts of his own.
Yeah, this is an interesting hit and miss for both teams. Heavy smoke coming out of the Radiant side, which is being led by Johnny, who will be rolling around on the Tusk. For Dream is going to be playing Immortal on the Abaddon. Cajun is rock and roll on the Tiny. Sano is sneaking around on the Riki, and way down bottom, it's going to be Miss zipping out on the Nature's Prophet.
And those are your lineups for this Game 2. RMU has a lot to prove. They are currently 0-3 in the league and looking to make their mark, stay relevant in the brackets, and get off to a decent start. They need to put something together here. Are you worried at all for RMU, being that PL will take some time to get off the ground, being that you sort of you're going to want to start to build that Ancient Apparition up to 11. It's going to take some time. I mean, it feels like, speaking of taking time, immediately for Dream and Johnny go straight in on JoJo. Good Fisher to buy a little bit of space, and it's just enough. But now Wasted in a tough position, goes ahead and puts up the slow, not going to hit the stun. He's got plenty of space for Dream to move. Dream comes through, eats through the trees, can't get the body block up though, but the right clicks continue. Snowballs up in 1 second. Will he go for it? I don't think he won't. Doesn't even need to, but he does it and saves the Abaddon. But full play by the Tusk to make sure that Abaddon survives and they get a beaten. I mean, it's the first blood that I think can only be described as absolutely gorgeous, making the best of their situation. That said, that worries me even more that RMU is going to have a hard time getting up off the ground in this game.
I've got to say, the Curse of Avernus first level skill on Abaddon, that's kind of a no respect build. Like, that doesn't work unless you're just, either your lanes are so significantly skewed in your favor, or you're just executing way better than your opponent. Typically, the Photic Shield will allow you to dive, which is a lot more damage and survivability. So that would be your, I'm going to dive you, open up build. The only reason you get the Curse of Avernus is if you don't trust your opponents to have this, really the game sense to stay near towers, right?
Right.
And you actually saw the AA freaked out and ran back that way instead of just running into the protection of his tower.
Well, So AA got scared, and the guys from UMD capitalized on it to get to a good start. Immediately we go towards the middle where we've got a 3-man congregation. Johnny, 4Dream, and Cajun get together, have a discussion over the rune, and rotate back out. As Sano taking a lot of damage here. Invisibility 2 seconds away. He'll manage to regen and go back to invisible. Now he's got Johnny hiding, goes into the roll, wants to make a big snowball hit. In comes the bat, and that's the curse of Avernus. Wasted is all alone. Caught out, body blocked, and he's going to get knocked down here. Turns back, good Fisher to buy some space, but Johnny just circles around, gets a casual right click, and finishes the job. Now he's going to hide out. Nice ice shards, locks 2 in, but he doesn't have enough mana. He does. He's got the mango if he wants to go for the roll. JoJo is outside of it, but they don't even need it because he's caught inside of the trees. That ice shard could not have been better. Literally, I don't think that could have been a better ice shard.
So this is not something that I would expect Wasted to do in that situation. This is very next high level ability. But with a single Tango, he could have eaten through that tree and gotten away when the fissure saved him there.
He's dead again.
Yeah, he's dead again.
Well,
he's just going to stand and wait. He's not even auto-attacking. He's panic again. Just straight up panic.
4Dream held the last hit until he thought Johnny might not be able to get it, then finishes the job. But I mean, that's just the nature of it. Caught inside of the igloo of death, not much he can do. Down the bottom, Massive going past the tower, wants to put some work into Miss, but he's taking a lot of damage from those creeps. Miss is going to have to run around here, and he'll just walk back to the tower, turns back, and immediately starts to harass Massive backwards towards his lane. In the mid position, Cajun is 10-1, 18-4, so Sneak's doing a lot better this time in that mid position.
I will just say that in case you haven't gotten the memo, overlay has not been switched from the
Oh,
draft yet.
Shnikes. What a failure.
But, you know, through the little windows into the soul of this game, everybody could see the extreme divey nature of, like, these guys are a swim team at this point. They have been behind the tower almost exclusively. Right here, where Abaddon is. That's the tree that AA could have eaten through and lived.
Sophia denies the invisibility rune to Cajun, gets up a good stun, finishes Cajun, but Miss TP's in and finishes the job. Guys, my apologies on the overlay. You're going to be stuck with I know you got stuck with it for at least 4 minutes, so I really feel bad about that. And I will finish this match and give myself a severe lashing. That's not true. Gold lead is at 1,000, XP is at 0, but I'm still going to feel bad about it. Feels bad, man.
It's all right. You know, I'm watching, and
life happens.
I can kind of see what's going on. It's okay. It's a nice overlay, at least.
It is a nice, you know,
setting us up with a nice overlay. So, if you are going to have to watch something that's not the game, at least it's a pretty picture, right? All right, I'm going to let it go now.
JoJo, another big shard, catches JoJo, good Fisher with the double. JoJo and Johnny going head-to-head. Johnny's got a roll to try and get himself out of some trouble. Sano dropping pretty low, Johnny as well. Here comes the TP from Miss for the rescue. For Dream sticking around. He doesn't have his ultimate, but he is brave. He's going to stay inside, has to back off as the Aphotic Shield explodes. And we now see Tusk hang out in the trees, hoping for his chance to re-engage. Big fight up top, 4-4. Not the kind of thing you expect to see at 5 minutes into a competitive match, but that is exactly what is happening. Miss gets hit by the PL. He's still up here looking to try and take a little bit of damage onto Dota Kingpin. Meanwhile, Johnny, still regaining the mana, wants to go in. Johnny is on a bloodlust rampage and just wants to fight constantly. Yeah, maybe a little too much. Well, I don't know. That last fight was a bit overconfident.
Well, yes, but their draft is entirely oriented around the idea that we're just going to beat you senseless, and that's what we're going to do. A little note, casual note, tiny Windranger solo mids only happened once in Pro Dota history, at least recorded Pro Dota history. It's good to know, right? Yeah, one time.
Huh. Intriguing.
Yeah. So now you know. That's one of those more you know moments.
I missed that song. All right, so now we see a rotation towards the bottom lane. Miss in a little bit of trouble as Massive makes the dive, but Massive dove too soon. Sophia had not closed the distance yet. She pops the haste rune, comes on in, does get a shackle in the trees, and Miss will go down. Wrong place to run, but how could he know that Windranger was on the way? Dream now going to harass JoJo, playing it very deep, level 3. It's got to back away. Wasted comes in, gets up the icy movement on him, but it's not going to stop him because he's just too fast. For Dream, though, has to fall back. Aphotic Shield, big Ice Shard, dodges the Fisher, but Sano caught inside of it accidentally, as there was no way for Jojo to know that was the targeting. Wants to close on Kingpin, gets him with the right click. Can he finish the job? Doesn't have his ultimate yet, though, so he has to be careful. Can he dive? He does. The body block. PL got body blocked by Jojo. The double, the damage coming out, but a nice TP stud by Sophia Bush. Johnny low, For Dream low, finishes one, finishes two, gonna go for the roll and should be able to finish three here, but Miss comes in, TP's to the right spot, gets a kill, comes in with the trees. Sophia Bush doesn't have the mana to get off a power shot. She's now going to fight back, though. Gets up to dodge the sprint. Miss is going to go down. What a play, 16. Hell, that he falls to the creeps. MVP.
Yeah, that was a nice turn. Like, she made the right choice to turn in and take that kill, and that was a huge swing for her. She got 1,300 gold off of that. So...
Sorry. We just got to the part where the overlay went down, and I saw Twitch chat saying, bring back the overlay, too much game. Funny stuff. Sano now going to back away. I mean, the aggression up here on this top lane is absolutely insane. And honestly, RMU's been benefiting from it a little bit in the last couple of minutes here as they've been able to turn these around. Santa goes right back in, still not level 6. Wants to go for Wasted. In comes the TP again from the Nature's Prophet. They do finish the kill this time. There we go. PL wants to fight. He's making copies. He's going to charge in, but he also still level 5. I don't think I've seen a score of 10-5 with this many level 5s on the board before.
Well,
Sano, wait, big Ice Shard. Sano goes in, finishes the job. Here comes the roll. Everyone jumps in. It's a snowball fight. And they finish the job. In comes the push from the Nature's Prophet. This top tower is doomed. I don't know, man. RMU is now down by almost 2,500. The XP is at 2,000 in the favor of UMD again. And they are just, like you said, their strat was built on the idea of we're just going to punch you in the face repeatedly. And they are doing just that. Meanwhile, worth noting, Tiny hasn't really been coming to the fights. He's just been free farming, and he is looking pretty good for the trouble.
If Wind Ranger pops out here, she will probably die too.
Yep,
so I'm glad that she had the sense to leave well enough alone.
I think she was hoping he'd stumble into position for a long shackle, but that was really about it.
Yeah, but what is there to shackle to in this river? There's a couple of leads.
Yeah. All right. Up back to the top. Sano wants to go on Dota Kingpin. Gets him inside. Doesn't have a diffusal blade, but he does have a snowball. Walrus punch. Dota King goes back into the smoke and gets finished off. And he stood no chances. He can't even come out from in front of the tower to try and get a little bit of farm. Now we'll go back into the jungle. Johnny and Sano leaving with the backup of For Dream. They look like they were going to run smack into Sophia, but Sophia has this foresight to back away. Now she's alone, though, as they try to flank her around by the tower. It looks like UMD may not even care as they're going to push forward on this thing. Sano does get spotted by the tower. Sophia now on the run. Big shard. Good job to Zoe to make sure they knew where she was going. In comes the snowball. Everyone is inside of it. Walrus punch, and just like that, Sophia is put down. Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal,
so
man.
a little compliment to RMU before we get too critical. I think their lineup this game
It's
is
better.
much better suited for,
for
the
sure.
sort of game that they're working into, right? They've got 4 heroes. A Wind Ranger comes into the game as a DPS-style carry, much earlier in the mid. She can do a lot more with a lot less, although... Oh, actually, Darkseer is going to dive in on Miss here.
Oh, is it? He's
Shouldn't
going for the
have enough.
dive. Missile
He already
TP
used the back
away. Yep, off he goes. Meanwhile, up on top, Sano finds Wasted. Wasted's going to get, well, wasted. As Sano literally just tracked him for a while until the PL left. And you can't go out and do anything. I mean, this is tough, and that's the hard part about the AA, right? Is he's level 4, doesn't even have his ultimate yet. In what world can he get an Ags in a level 11? Huge latch, though. Sophia Bush gets it. Abaddon goes down. Cajun has to run. That was a clutch latch. Ice Shard comes in for zoning as we see a rotation. Now it's going to be Johnny backing away, but here comes Cajun, catches Darkseer, burns him down. In comes Mystic, put up a beautiful tree trap. Sophia Bush is going to jump. She's not going to jump, she's going to get thrown straight up in the air, eradicated, knocked down. The snowball, the ice shards, everything. There's just so much control on the side of University of Maryland. Honestly, Mrs. Sprouts have been on point this entire game.
This is just a case of giving up too much ground too early, I think, really, for RMU, because they have a draft that allows them to engage as 4, let the Phantom Lancer kind of find his own space.
But what choice did
they have? Well, you know, it's just, they just got outplayed, I think, when they were trying to defend that top especially. I feel like Wasted as a player, he seems to lack a bit of fundamental just do not panic. Basically, the second things start to go wrong, I can just see the eyes widen through the screen, and he just kind of moves around erratically. Like, it's okay. Keep a towel, be calm, you know? Put on some reggae or something.
Sanjo catches JoJo's, got the ultimate now, doesn't even need it, finishes the job with one use, picks him off, and he's going to go back to the top lane where there's 3 looking on, but none of them can really do anything as Sano pushes. But again, and this all came because, by the way, a 7,500 gold lead for Radiant, almost 6,000 XP. This is going about the same way it did last time, except maybe a little bit faster for University of Maryland. But University of Maryland just brought the pain on the top lane. No way. That's got to be a macro. That's too beautiful.
It's definitely a macro.
So beautiful.
100% no question about it. What I will say is that RMU, they're doing really well considering their rankings. Because I'm looking through profiles right now. JoJo's sitting a little over 2k MMR. Wasted is sitting just a little over 3k MMR. And we're talking about a series that has... Johnny is over 4k. There's over 2,000 matches on Cajun. So this is not... MIS has been playing since 2011, and that's just in the Dota 2 client, so he probably played Dota 1 before then. We're talking a massive difference in experience.
Well, Windranger got Ricky up on the top. Cajun gets a pick on Earthshaker and then blinks away to safety. Actually, a really nice combo by him. And a little bit of a risky one as they were closing on him aggressively, but very smooth plays to make that happen. They go 1 for 1, but that Ricky kill was very good for RMU. Absolutely a necessity, but Cajun not done. He wants to go in on Dota Kingpin, picks the right time, waits to see him basically rotate away so he knows which one's real. And actually, you can see which one's real nowadays, can't you?
Wait, what are you talking about?
No, I'm sorry. Terrorblade's the one that they made the change to where you can see origins. So waits to see the real one, comes in, finishes the job. 10,000 gold, 7,500 XP. At the moment, UMD is giving us a master's class in how to play the CSL and really just figure out your opponent and work against them. And I think that what you said is right. RMU had a draft idea, but not only that, RMU has a very specific play style. And it seems like UMD just noticed it and said, all right, we know what you like to do, and we've got your number.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, they don't have to pick this aggressive of a playstyle in order to succeed against RMU. Like I said, it's just a vastly different amount of experience between these teams, and it is not an equivalency matchup, right? I don't feel like we're doing RMU a disservice by pointing out that having a couple of sub 4K players up against what I assume are a couple of 4K plus players, it's not in even matching. They're doing really well in terms of draft theory and overall execution, considering the fact that it's not an even matchup. But if you put, a high school team up on a college field, they're going to get crushed, and that's kind of the level of experience differential that it looks like we're seeing here.
So, Robert Morris, a team with room to grow, UMD, a team that is showing that they want to be in the championships. KG gets caught in a latch, but immediately a beautiful usage of that snowball. And that's the UMD we're talking about. This is the team that we expected to see. They are always competitors in CSL. They had a good season last season. The game that we covered earlier this year was a strong one. And plays like that show us exactly why. The latch was great, but Johnny didn't care.
Yeah, Johnny was on the spot, as it were. The ability to not only grab that Tiny and keep him safe, but also just move him over so that if you haven't gotten the kill by the time the Tiny is unstunned, he's immediately available to get that last hit. Those little things make big differences in games that are close. This isn't one of those games, but the habits are there, right?
Yep. So they push down, they get the kills in the middle. Meanwhile, up top, Nature's Prophet does a split push to the top tower. All of RMU responds, and that just leaves the rest of the folks here in the mid position to take the middle tower. Not much RMU can do about it. The gold lead has cracked 13,000, XP at 10. Worth noting, Ancient Apparition has crossed that level 6 line as he shows off his first Ice Blast of the game.
Yeah, that's a perfectly timed level 6.
Cajun.
And we will see
Cajun does get
how it
caught in the
works out.
latch. Sophia Bush plays a pretty good Wind Ranger actually. Gets up a nice play. Here comes JoJo though with the Echo Slam. He gets knocked down. The heals are there. Johnny's gonna have to try to walk away. Gets thrown from the distance. The long shot is wasted. Gets rocked. Massive goes down. Tusk in some trouble. Cajun gets caught inside of another big latch with the power shot. Nice plays by Sophia, but Sano wants to make her pay and should be able to do so. Sprints around, dodges. Sano can't take the damage. He's got to back away, being chased by Dota Kingpin. The power shot glazes the back of Sano, but it's not enough to finish the job. That's a good 3-man takeout and a huge gold swing, almost
That's 3,000.
Yeah, I mean that's big. That was huge. So. A great play by
and
the
to
Wind
deny
Ranger.
if they're no, never mind. Ricky's going to come up and just
I keep calling him Sophia Sneaks. Sneaks is actually doing a really great job on the Wind Ranger in this game. 100%. 100% redemption for him in terms of how that last game went in the mid position. Sneaks, I think, needed to have a good game here and showed that he is not the player that he looked like at the start of the last game. Massive gets Sano. Sano in some trouble. They've got the vision. They take him out. Nice job.
Yeah, this is very well executed by RMU, right? They are taking the overconfidence from the more experienced team and turning it against them. I don't want to overstate it. It's not like RMU are doing this to the same degree as the example I'm about to use, but this is how CDEC managed to take second at the International, right? They were playing against a lot of teams that are better than them, but they used strategies that punished overconfidence and threw other teams off of their comfort zone. And RMU is showing a little bit of that sort of mentality here.
Oh, man. So Tiny's just throwing people around like crazy, but you're right, and I think that it's a good thing because even if RMU does lose this match, which it looks like they might with combos like Cajun comes in, gets a nice little play there, the mech's going to come out to save some lives, Ancient Apparition comes out, Cajun now has to run, he's dropping very low, 329, the chase from Dota Kingpin, turns back around, what a play, knew he was in trouble, says I'm going down fighting, baby, and he takes out to the roll, caught inside of the snowball, everyone's vacuumed, but to no avail. What plays for days as UMD saves the Tiny, split pushes the top lane, gets 4 of them, and shows us just how well they do. But what I was saying is RMU has shown us at least some quality glimmers, some execution as a team, and some good individual play, that they have potential, that this is a young team with an up and coming. So they get a year or two of practice, get to know everyone else on the squad, and we could see some great things coming out of RMU in the future. That said, Maryland is a team that's in their own right now. Sneaks comes in aggressively.
Point out that Tiny save, literally level 1 craggy exterior against a ranged hero.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. A got stunned by craggy exterior because he was too close because he had to walk up the steps. That was just, not only is the RNG perfect, but it was a perfect play by the Tiny as well. Like, you can't ask for more than that. I love what Ricky is doing up here. He just doesn't care. He's just waiting for an opportunity to kill anything because he knows there's absolutely no true side around here.
That or he'll just assume tear into some... No, he's leaving. He's like, F it.
If RMU were no, he's going to hang out because he knows they don't have vision. But if they were maybe more experienced, they would put a sentry right there, right? Just so that this kind of crap can't happen because he's thinking about moving on the Earthshaker. He wants to move on something. He's going to get greedy.
All right, so here's his chance. Comes in. Looks like he wants to play. He's got massive Dota King. They brought the entire group, so he's going to wait for the chance. Meanwhile, in the mid, the push will go. Big snowball. They make the move. Walrus Punch to finish the job. Wasted, dropping low, puts out the disco ball of desperation, and he goes away. Meanwhile, Sano finally reveals himself, but he goes on the PL, who's got the dodge. But no, PL not microing everyone away, so he knows exactly who the real one is. He has to go, but the tower will finish the job. So they'll go 1 for 2, and the middle push will continue as Cajun continues to whack on this tower. Try to drop it down, makes his move on JoJo. JoJo's going to drop down. Massive comes in, gets up a big vacuum in a wall, but 4 Dreams going to proc his ultimate. Cajun has to go the long way around. Blink Dagger keeps getting turned off by Sneaks. Sneaks wants to go, puts up the dodge. Massive in some trouble, knocked up, pushed down. Johnny in very deep. Big stun there to buy a little bit of space. Ends up picking him off. 4 Dream doesn't have his ultimate anymore. He'll drop down. It's a 4 for 3, and on the back of Sneaks making some really tight plays to try to keep his team in this.
Yeah, a nice wall replica too there. I don't want to give it all to Sneaks. There has been some decent team-oriented work here. And this is exactly what we were talking about earlier in the game. Like, they picked a good lineup to deal with this sort of hyper aggression, to be able to punish it on high ground and tower defenses, and to be able to open up a bit of space for their farming carry, who is a Phantom Lancer, to get out there and make something happen. Now, he's almost to his Vlad, still on brown boots, so they've got a long way to go before they're anywhere back to in this game, but they're not completely out of it. It's certainly not as one-sided as last game was, although they are down 20,000 gold, so that's a relative statement.
University of Maryland up 20,000, like you said, XP at 12, and I do want to say that Zingle should probably change his name to Pringle because he's got a massive chip on his shoulder that's just salty.
Wow. When that reaches him in 5 minutes, he's going to be...
The burn!
Yeah.
Ironically enough, you can use Pringles to start campfires. Sophia Bush.
How is that ironic? What does it have to do with...
Because I made it. Because it was a burn and a chip joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. I follow you now.
This is what it's come to. Sano watching from the woods. Sano is literally just taking this. I'm going to stick here, wait for my pickoffs, make them uncomfortable anytime that they leave. In he goes. Out comes Johnny. Oh! Echo Slam does a good job of putting him out of his position. Sano tries to go for the kill. They've lost one. Now Sneaks on the run. Cajun wants to finish the job. Sano's got to run. Sneaks on the chase. I don't think she can get Cajun, but it looks like Sano's in some trouble. Yup, he's going to go down here, presumably, or not. He makes the smart rotation. They don't find him. He actually manages to get away. I thought he was donezo.
Well, they've managed to pull it back 4,000 out of 20,000.
That's good. I mean, it's something.
The high ground defense is real here, and granted, I will say that it is almost entirely out of overconfidence coming out of the Radiant side, but you know what? Sometimes when the cat plays with its food, it chokes. Right?
You know, if I learned anything from Sun Tzu and Sparta, it's the idea that capitalizing on your opponent's overconfidence to push them into bottleneck situations is a surefire way to pull out a victory from what seems like a complete loss. And RMU is taking that to heart as they put up a big fight against UMD. That said, it's still 37-16. They're still down by 20,000, and the split push is very real on the side of UMD. And that, I think, is the thorn in their side, is they can't really lean base. I don't even know if they want to be putting up this level of high ground defense so much as they can't go anywhere else.
I'm still reeling from my original interpretation of your statement was that Sun Tzu was at Thermopylae, and I was really confused by that for a second. I'm still wrapping my head around what you were saying.
Little known history.
Yeah. The unknown author of The Art of War happened to be there in, like, what was that, 480, 500 BC, something like that?
What? Jeez. So, I guess just as a sign of what UMD is having fun with this game, Abaddon has built himself a Battle Fury.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's reasonable. This is the sort of build that I would have done in Dota 1 when I had no idea what was going on. I built Battle Fury on every melee hero that existed.
I thought you were trying to justify the Battle Fury.
No, there's really no justice. Like, even if you're going to build him as a carry, right? That's not the way to do it.
No.
But he can do whatever he wants. He's going to build a Diffusal next, so...
Interesting.
You know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do know, and so does RMU, as they try to bide their time here. In they go, push to the high ground, UMD putting some damage on the tower. The tower will finally go down. They've been trying to get it for a while. In comes massive, big vacuum into a wall. Gets everyone, but the wall angle is not right. Gets one, but that's with the Aegis. We got a full mana Tiny coming back into this thing in just a second. He goes ahead and blinks himself to safety. Turns back, wants to go, gets a play on Massive, lots of damage coming out, wasted low, everyone drops down. It's a 4-man, the re-engagement by the Tiny, just too strong. Sneaks the last man standing, tries to go for the run, knocked up, thrown down, sent back to base, and this will be an easy push onto the racks. We do have the buyback from the ES and the Wind Ranger. This is their last stand. No buyback from the Ancient Apparition, though, as he decides just to hold on to that 22 seconds and some gold. Cajun taking some damage from the ultimate coming out of Sneaks, who has finished up his Ag Scepter. And meanwhile, up on top, Miss was able to take both the racks at the same time. Cajun comes in, goes for Sophia Bush. He's got to run backwards. Sneaks says, "Sorry, Shaker. Time has come for you to go." And Cajun continues to smack on the range jacks. He's got to back away as he's taking a lot of damage from those two towers. And really, it's a tough thing when the most damage coming out for your defense is from the two mid towers.
You got to give RMU one thing. They've got Spirit. They haven't raged out yet. They might be freaking out at some points and panicking, but they have not raged, and I give them credit for that. I don't know that not raging will win them.
Oh, no! The vacuum play was brilliant, but the alt-TP was more brilliant. Sano finishes off the PL, backs away. The middle tower is under assault by an insane amount of trees. It's a damn army. It's a Zerg rush here.
Yeah,
and the GG comes out from Sneaks. 45-17, gold lead of 35,000, XP of 20. University of Maryland shows us that these guys are going to be contenders in this season, and I look forward to seeing what they've got for the rest of the year. RMU, a team to keep an eye on in the future, showed us some moments of brilliance, but definitely needs to work on their synergy and execution as far as mechanics go. My name's Toffees. You can follow me at Toffees TV, joined by Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find him at the Wonder Cow over on Twitter. You can also find C Star League on Twitter as well if you want to know more about all the collegiate coverage, everything from Dota to League to CSGO to StarCraft to Hearthstone. We got it all, baby. This is where you want to spend your evenings. Tuesday and Thursday, every Tuesday and Thursday, me and Gorgon are going to be here bringing you the best in collegiate esports. Gorgon, a short night, but a fun night?
Fun for everyone except RMU, I suspect. Yeah. No, it was interesting. It was fun to watch. I feel kind of bad in the way that you feel bad when you pass somebody who got in a car accident on the side of the road. You know, I'm not directly related to it, but just having been around makes me feel a little dirty.
No, I felt it was tough. It was not like we said, it was a barn burner, but only on one side. Yeah. I think RMU probably learned a lot to take away from this, and I will say that Sneaks did show me that he is somebody to watch as the anchor for this RMU team. Yeah,
I will give them credit, and not to drag this out for too long, but it's a short night. I feel like we can get a couple of minutes here at the end. I don't expect this to obviously be a team that will be coming in the finals, right? But they are showing that they're willing to go up toe-to-toe with teams that are more experienced, players that are way more experienced. I suspect that they're a team that's going to improve a lot based on that experience against those other teams. So I give them a lot of credit, and hopefully we'll see them maybe next season come in a bit stronger if they come out and practice a bit.
Absolutely, and they'll have plenty of time. The season goes all the way through May. Winner takes home, the top 4 teams take home their share of $15,000 in scholarships and get to go to a LAN final. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a long season, and we're here for the entirety of it. Guys, it's been wonderful spending the evening with you. I encourage you to check us out on social media and come back and see us Thursday night for the Thursday Night Fight Throwdown. If you go to the cstarleague.com. You can check out what the matchups are going to be for this week, as well as next, I believe, as we sort of pick teams based on who looks like it'll be a good game, who's sort of matched up in terms of rankings, and also, obviously, who's available, as these guys are full-time students, and that does come into play. Academics do take priority over esports, or that's our mentality here at CSL. So thanks for spending the night with us. Have a wonderful evening. Play more Dota, and as always, folks, Toffees out.
just turning us into soldiers, but